Welcome back. On the sidelines of his participation in the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with a number of leading figures of the American society, including journalists, heads of research centers, and intellectuals. The president also discussed with the leaders of the Anglican community in New York building bridges of communication with the different sects of the American society. President al-Sisi also met with the president of the World Bank, David Malpass, at his residence in New York. The details in the upcoming report.
On the sidelines of his participation at the 74th session of the United Nations General Assembly, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi met with a number of figures of the American society, including journalists, heads of research centers, and intellectuals. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassam Rodi said that during the meeting, the President participated in an open dialogue with the participants. The dialogue covered developments in regional issues as well as Egypt's development and reform plans. During the meeting, the President asserted the importance of the Egyptian-American strategic relations and the need to boost them to serve the national security of the two states. The President reviewed Egypt's efforts in combating terrorism. On regional issues, the President said that the Palestinian-Israeli conflict remains one of the main reasons of instability in the region. He called on the international community to support national institutions and seek comprehensive political solutions to the crises in the region. The President also discussed with leaders of the Anglican community in New York building bridges of communications with the different sects of the American society. They also tackled different challenges that face the two countries. The President expressed Egypt's keenness on setting principles of citizenship and equality and rejecting discrimination on religious basis. The President also met with President of the World Bank, David Malpass, in his residence in New York. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassam Rodi said that the President welcomed Malpass in his second meeting with him after his visit to Egypt in May as part of his first tour after taking office as head of the World Bank. The President asserted Egypt's keenness to boost fruitful relations with the World Bank in accordance with the Egyptian priorities to support development reform program which led to improvement in all economic indicators. The meeting covered means of boosting ties with the World Bank in efforts to achieve development in Africa as part of Egypt's efforts as head of the African Union.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi expressed the Egyptian keenness on enhancing cooperation with the United Nations various institutions to help maintain international peace and security. President al-Sisi's remarks came during a meeting with the United Nations General Secretary Antonio Guterres in New York on the sidelines of the 74th United Nations General Assembly. Guterres expressed the United Nations appreciation for the long and fruitful cooperation with Egypt, praising the Cairo efforts during the presidency of the African Union this year. The meeting tackled the latest developments in the regional issues, including efforts to combat terrorism. Earlier, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held a meeting with the Portuguese counterpart, Marcelo Rebelo de Sousa, in New York, where they discussed the illegal migration and the latest developments of the Libyan crisis. President al-Sisi praised the distinguished ties between Egypt and Portugal and said that Egypt is looking forward to enhancing joint cooperation in various domains. The president also stressed keenness to foster bilateral relations, especially in the fields of shipping, ports administration and renewable energy, as well as the fields of tourism and investments. For his part, the Portuguese president expressed appreciation for the Egyptian people and leadership, pointing out the long-standing ties between the two countries. President Sisi also met with the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in New York. During the meeting, President Sisi praised the bilateral relations, especially in the fields of economy, trade and tourism. For his part, the Ukrainian president praised the close bilateral relations, as well as the Egyptian key role in the Middle East and Africa. The meeting also tackled a number of regional files, including the Middle East peace process, as well as the crises in Syria, Libya, and Yemen. Minister of Defense General Mohammed Zaki met with the students and the teaching staff of the Military Technical College on Thursday. Speaking during the meeting, the Minister of Defense said that the armed forces are fully aware of the dangers and challenges facing the nation. For his part, the head of the Military Technical College said that the college works on training its students on dealing with the new equipment and armament systems in the different military departments. The police arrested a real estate broker who was inciting demonstrations next Friday on his Facebook account. The suspect was also chanting slogans of the anti-regime satellite channels. The 52-year-old citizen was caught carrying 3 cell phones and the camera, in addition to thousands of £500 coupons. Investigations revealed that 2 other persons have commissioned the suspect to use the coupons to encourage citizens to protest in Tahrir Square. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli headed a meeting of the Higher Committee for the Nile Water. Attending the meeting were the Ministers of Water Resources and Irrigation, Dr. Muhammad Abdul Ati, Deputy Foreign Minister Ambassador Hamdi Loza, and the representatives of the Defense Ministry and the General Intelligence. The committee discussed preparations for the independent scientific group meetings in Khartoum between the 30th of September and the 3rd of October that will be followed by Egypt, Sudan's and Ethiopia's water ministers meeting, also in Khartoum on the 4th and the 5th of October. The Higher Committee for the Nile Water also tackled the importance of joining the serious technical negotiation on the Egyptian suggestion and any other visions that help in bridging the gaps between different points of view and reaching a fair solution that takes into consideration the interests of the 3 countries. Nile TV International and the French channel TV5 held a joint broadcast on Thursday between the 6 and 7 p.m. Cairo local time. Nile TV International was represented by Noha Ala and Aya Ashel. The joint broadcast was part of TV5's special day on the Francophone countries. The 1-hour broadcast reviewed the aspects of the Francophone cultural life in Egypt and Egypt's ties with the Francophone countries. Nile TV had similar joint transmissions with China, France, Kazakhstan, and a number of international institutions.
Minister of Housing Dr. Asim Al-Qassar paid a visit on Thursday to the 10th of Ramadan city in Sharqiya Governorate to inspect the implementation of new projects in the city, on top of them social housing units. During his visit, the minister delivers 30 housing units to citizens. The units are part of a social housing project to build 2,000 housing units in 110 buildings. The ministry is working on upgrading the main access in 10th of Ramadan City, mainly at Kafrawi and Al Rawad squares, in addition to upgrading roads, agriculture, road lights, water networks. Egypt's stock market indices gained £7.2 billion, being bolstered by purchasing operations by Arab and foreign investors. The main EGX 30 added 1.93%. The small and medium EGX 70 added 0.75%. The more expanded EGX 100 added 0.87%. Hossam Al-Badri was unveiled as new Egypt head coach. The Egyptian Football Federation appointed Al-Badri as substitute of Javier Aguirre. Al-Badri will try to qualify Egypt to the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon and the 2022 World Cup. Egypt will face Kenya, Togo and Comoros in the Group G of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. And Mohammed Sharif scored the game first in the Talaa El Geish in the 60th minute for MB. Then Talandei equalized in the 69th minute. Earlier on Thursday, Haras Al Hudud and Wadi Degla game ended in an even draw. Degla took the lead through Rafiq Kabo in the 16th minute before Ahmed Said scored the second goal in the 35th minute. Then Amr Al Halawani scored Haras Al Hudud first goal in the 48th minute.